Hey, we're live. Oh, lovely to see you chatting with each other already. That's so nice. It feels like a little community of us who've really hung on in there. Obviously, lots of people are back to work. I'm also just encouraging people they can take 20 minutes out of a day to just give themselves a break and to do some folding. So today we're going to do a traditional frog. I think some of you who do origami already will be familiar with this, but it's such a lovely playful one. It's quite fun for making little races of frogs, and you can experiment maybe with different sorts of papers, decorate them. Hello, tadpoles, indeed. Oh yeah, I'm still sort of recovering after a big. It felt like a marathon. I know there was also an origami marathon, but the British Origami Society convention, and it was such an honour to be asked to demonstrate within that, to teach. And I'm very much there are so many incredible people who are just astonishing designers. It was very kind to be asked amongst that, because I'm not inventing new things at all. I'm purely passing on and encouraging, and I still feel myself I'm very much learning. I do lots of creative things actually, so in many ways I've rather enjoyed actually not coming up with my own thing and just being in sheer admiration that other people have come up with wonderful designs. And it's a bit like science actually, because I'm a scientist originally. You have a whole culture and you have to learn an awful lot before you can contribute. So I hope, yeah, I think that's a really lovely thing. We don't have to invent things anew. Oh, thank you, Folding Things. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it was really nice to be asked. And I think I'm well with this. Hopefully you feel that I'm really chatting to you, but I'm just sort of talking to myself. So I'm getting a bit used to that. I quite enjoy it now in an odd kind of a way. But I think a lot of people find it quite hard, to be frank, going live in front of a screen. So you've really helped me, you lot, to feel like it's okay to be able to do this. But it does require quite a bit of kind of going through this sort of nervousness, and out of the end of it, hopefully you just end up just be yourself, try to be yourself, and hopefully that stands you in good stead. So as usual, I'm chatting a little bit because I'm waiting for people to arrive. It often takes a little tiny bit, and there's a nice little group of us, so thrilled that you can join. I thought I'd be back to the traditional designs. This was actually a request from a colleague who wanted to be able to fold frogs, and it is a real favourite. I love this. And actually, I think it's quite appropriate, because the last fold that we did was the traditional crane. And of course, hello, Wendy. Of course, cranes would like to eat frogs. So there is a link there. Not sure the frogs would like it, but so at the moment I'm exploring quite a few traditional designs, and in some cases there's some amazing origamists who are hopefully letting me maybe demonstrate some of their incredible creations. So we'll hopefully have a good mix. I'm always keen to do things which hopefully are accessible to people who maybe don't normally do origami. So I'm on the whole not doing incredibly complex, but I have to say I have to be excited by these things to offer them. I don't want to offer something that's so simple that it's just not very interesting. Saying that, I seem to get excited about every single piece, so it's probably pretty impossible to find something that's not of interest, quite frankly, in origami. I always think of the paper a little bit like how you feel. You can feel flat and you don't know what to do. And then once you get folding, it starts transforming and you feel a whole lot better for it. So, right, I think it's almost 5 minutes past. I usually have a bit of a 5-minute chat with you or myself, and then we'll get folding. So definitely grab yourself some paper. I know some of you have origami paper, but I always show from A4 paper, letter paper, how to fold a square, because I want everyone to realise you can use any paper. Maybe you could decorate it afterwards. That could be quite fun too. So with a frog, we're actually going to use half a square. So it means you could do 2 frogs for the price of 1, I guess, out of a square. So right, I think we might as well get started. It's 5 minutes past, so others can join in. So if you grab your paper. Eric, you've got your special Bakelite coin sorting tray. Oh wow, from the 1920s. I love things like Bakelite. 20s, just that era, and actually almost that's such a plastic. It's just so lovely from that time, isn't it? It gains so much from the surface too. Right. Yeah, the A thing is right over. Yeah, you're right. Well, I just want people to realise you don't need anything special at all. So start with thank you. Holding things with that. So we're first of all, as always, well, not always, but often, making a square. So to do that, take your corner and line it up. This will make a giant frog, won't it? Why not? You can get giant frogs. I used to actually keep some. Did any of you keep tadpoles when you were little? I did actually grow some up into frogs and look after them. They probably didn't enjoy it, looking back. But it's very interesting watching frogs spawn, isn't it? So again, removing the rectangle. I'm sure there's many exciting things we could do with that, but not for now. That's it. And I just love the thought that we're all folding together. I can't see you, but I hope you know that we're together folding in this time and live at this moment. It's that spontaneity we're often missing, isn't it? So we'll get rid of this rectangle. So if you do a good strong fold, you should be able to just tear it off. This wasn't something I used to do, tearing off, but I've rather liked. It's a nice surface. Look at that lovely surface. It's pretty good, but it's also got a nice wobbliness, which is the material itself. I really am chatting away today. Right, opening this up, and we want to make a rectangle. Nice. That could be quite fun. That's right. So again, if you give nice and exact, good strong fold, that's all you need to do, isn't it, for origami? And one step at a time. That's it. Well, I think most of all, for me, origami I find fascinating because I think it's about an attitude to learning new things. We're all a bit terrified of learning new things, but if we can be playful, have a bit of fun with it, then it's possible to believe in yourself, to go slowly, to be kind to yourself. All these things matter. Right, so hopefully you've got a rectangle. What we're going to do is do a cross at both ends. So I've already got a line there. I've gained something, haven't I, by folding in half, making my square. So it doesn't matter how you do this actually, but effectively you're doing a cross on each end. So that one I've already done. That's good. And I will do then the other end. Doesn't matter which order you do it in. This is reminding me of the lovely modular Sonobi now. I haven't shown you how to do that yet, but I think I should do at some point. I love the modular. That's the kind of thing I'm often doing. But at the moment, discovering animals a bit too. There we go. And if you go the other way, as I said, there's no real proper order to this. Take your time, go slowly, and do speak up if I'm going too fast. I try and take my time. That's it. Oh. Yeah, you're right, Penny. I did have a really big audience. I did notice quite a few people, bless them, shaking hands. I'm not surprised because they knew so many people watching. When you're live, it's a little bit terrifying. There we go. But you've got me used to it, haven't you? So we've done that diagonal and we go the other way. Okay. I think it's easier, to be honest, than being in front of a group. This way. But, yeah. As with origami, it's about being kind to yourself, learning new things. So hopefully you've done that. You've made a cross at each end. I'm probably chatting more than explaining now. Have you all managed to do a cross at both ends? I can't hear you. I don't know if you can. Well, I will after I'll presume that you're okay. But do shout if you need more of a demo there. So our next step, I will presume you've got that, is to then turn it over. I love how it's already beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? Just the shadows and the light and the form. What we're going to do next is do a horizontal line through the middle of those two crosses. So if you take the middle there, you almost have to push it in a little bit and then fold it to line up the ends there. That's it. Yeah, thanks for coming along, Origami Nick. You're doing amazing things. I know this will be quite basic for you, but I think that's the lovely thing about origami too, is that the simple has equal value to the complex. You know, everything's based on the simple, and that's where you get to. Fingers crossed and poised. Brilliant. I think there's always a bit of a delay in things popping up, so, but it's nice. I really appreciate you writing a few things because it makes me realise you're really there. If there were no comments, I'd be like, I really am just talking to myself. So hopefully it forms something like that, a nice little square. And if you open it up, you should be able to pop your finger underneath the middle of those crosses and pop it up. And I just love this bit because it's really satisfying. It's sort of in there, pushing your finger underneath the pop. Can you see? And it's formed a really nice structure. It's lovely, isn't it? You can make lots of them and join them together and make lovely patterns in itself. So if you turn it over, you will hopefully find it just naturally, because of the direction the folds, you should be able to push the sides in, and it should paper sculpture exactly. It really is lovely, isn't it? And I've enjoyed using the white. I mean, you really see cleanly, don't you, the lovely form of it all. Beautiful. And again at the bottom, fold, pushing that in at the sides. I hope you're enjoying yours too. And I do encourage people just to enjoy every step. I mean, isn't that a lovely thing? It's like a, you can close up completely as a square. It opens up and it's like a big pocket or a shape. Yeah, lots. I'm sure you could play around with that. Definitely to enjoy. Right, what are we doing next? Could almost forget, getting so lost in enjoying that. So next part of our little story, our little journey, is to take the corner, and it doesn't matter which corner, and fold it to the end of your square there. I found it quite interesting from the origami convention. Nick, who's going to be our next president, was saying that it's quite interesting that I'm not using the usual terms that are used. I really am an outsider, but it's hopefully in some ways that makes it hopefully more accessible. Even with mountain and valley, I mean, that's pretty obvious, but even then I have to sort of think about it. So I tend not to use technical terms, but hopefully showing you, partly because of the way I think. Right, so the little, again, this little pointy bit, pointy bit says it, and then bringing it up to the top there. Hope you can see it all. There we go. And also, actually, my setup's a little bit different because most people, the origami films which are on YouTube, which are excellent, are often filmed directly down, which is actually very good for learning. I'm afraid I haven't really got that as an option. I'm doing it from my laptop. But I'm hoping it's a little bit more like sitting opposite somebody at a table, and I'm showing a little bit more, I think, thinking of it more as offering company, as well as, it's not a perfect demo, but in some ways I think we're wanting human connection, or at least I am. There we go. So I hope that's worked for you. So it's now all sorts of interesting layers. We're next going to make, these will be the legs, but at the moment they're tucked in, so we need to get them sticking out. So if you take one of these, again, shout out if you need me to explain anything. I'll otherwise assume that you've got it. So this little tip, I want you to take the side and fold it. Can you see? So it'll line up against this line. So folding it there. Okay, no technical terms from me. There we go. And actually what it's doing is getting these little legs to stick out. So it's again this edge, and we're going to bring it over here, and it will mean that the little legs start to stick out. Like so. Very nice. I think it also looks a bit like a samurai hat at this point, doesn't it, too? So the same with the other end. Yay, exactly. Samurai hat. Something I haven't shown yet. But wonderful. So I don't know. From what I understand, I haven't read enough that sort of paper tokens were given between samurai. So I should have a bit more of a read. Yes, we do think the same thing, Eric. Yeah. Little tokens, and often a folding paper to be able to put gifts in as well. There we go. So it's like a sort of table frog at the moment. It's got a little bit of a bounce, but really not that froggy, a little bit froggy. So we need to make it more like a frog shape. and then also to give it a bit of a spring in its back legs too. So first of all, we could maybe make the bottom of the frog. So the legs are there. So I want you to take one end and bring it up, and it should then reveal those back legs. So it's down here, bringing it up, obviously keeping it all in the middle. You can see where the middle is there, like so. There we go. Nice. Our next step is to take the side. This frog is always way too wide, and we're going to bring it into a straight line along the middle, like so. And it's just narrowing up that frog. Nobody wants to be that wide, probably. There we go. So I've done one side and then the other. I don't know whether people always do the next step, but I think it's brilliant. There are. Has that worked for you? I hope so. Little legs there. So we can actually make the body a little bit nicer, because this little triangle that sticks up has got little pockets at the side. Little pocket. So what you can do is slide this side into the pocket. You might have to sort of curve it round, and it won't go all the way, but it'll go quite a bit of the way. This is the point where I definitely have to look. I can't do this one onto a screen. Some things you can. Oh, doing it there. That's right. So you should be able to push it in, and it should fit in quite nicely. You'll find there's a little gap there. That's fine. That's the same. Yeah, it doesn't go all the way neat in. But it sort of seals up the body, which is rather good. So hopefully it's looking like that. There's also a really nice train ticket frog that my dear friend Angela has taught me too. So I will be sharing that at some point too. Brilliant. Which works particularly well. I actually got a massive bag of train tickets before. I think it was maybe in February. I could see what was going to happen, so I thought my staff at the station I've got doing origami as well, because it would either be very boring just waiting between things, or very stressful and hectic. So I got them into origami, and they would let me take home old tickets. So it was quite a good use for them. Right. Excellent. Without thinking. Yes, exactly. Pockets are great, aren't they? So our next step always looks a bit painful. We're going to turn it onto its back. And I know, like two samurai, but we're going to fold it in half. Poor little thing. That looks a bit painful, doesn't it? So folding it in half like that. There's its head, but it's the back that we want to give a nice little zigzag legs to. So our next step, it will feel quite thick, but is to take this line and we're going to line it up with this line, so it will go in. Now I really recommend that the middle of the back bit slightly, if anything, slightly overhangs, because if it's a little bit back, you'll find it's very hard to get it to hop. I'll try and explain. It's a bit hard sometimes to explain things in words. But I'm pushing in there, and it's quite thick, you'll find. And I am bringing it back. And as I said, if anything, definitely make sure it's lined up. If you had any choice, definitely this top bit slightly overhanging rather than underhanging, I think, in terms of for jumping. But hopefully that should be it. Hopefully you've made your frog. Hurrah. And you can slightly open it up. It's got a nice profile, hasn't it? Very nice profile. And hopefully, yay, it will jump. Yay. And maybe you could have little matches. Of course, you could have done it in green paper. You could do different sizes, a whole big family. There we go. And I'm just going to start hopping all over the place, aren't they? Oh, let's do a bit more hopping. Why not? So that's what they're there for. That's it. Yay. So how have your frogs turned out? Yay. Hard. Yeah. And I guess particularly that last step's going to be very hard, isn't it? Eric. Don't know whether it's... No doubt, most things are good from having to try to use them. And if you're going to use your fingers, you might as well use them for origami, mightn't you? Brilliant. Oh, thanks for joining, Stephen. It was good to see you. It jumps well. They're good, aren't they? You can do it as that using the whole square and double thickness, but I found it better actually, the half. And the thing is, I've still got another strip I could do, so you could easily make a couple of frogs, maybe decorate them, and get them jumping all over the place. Somersaulting, yeah, they often flip onto their backs, don't they? But it's quite fun, and yeah, I hope it's a good playful fold. I think we all need to be a bit playful at the moment. So the more fun you can have, the better. Prescription, have a little bit of fun. It is needed to get us through this time, and maybe you can encourage, I don't know, friends or family to also make them too. Maybe you can share pictures. I've got the Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, join the fold Origami to Beat Boredom. Any pictures you might like to take of your frogs to share, love to see them. Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Eric. Wendy, you've made 2. Ah, I bet the card is quite good. Harder to fold, but because I found the train ticket frogs, they jump really well. They're better actually. So I will show that to you at some point in future. Yes, you're very welcome, Penny, and I will see what comes along next. Yay! Yes, please do post pictures, and on Twitter at Dr. Lizzie Burns. Maybe I'll leave it a mystery for next week. Yeah, possibly thinking of traditional. Do you want to see a quick glimpse as to what I've been making recently? The cicada, it's a lovely thing. Little flowers, these are all traditional folds. Oh, the children today. Oh, excellent. We're a little dinosaur. This isn't traditional. This is from Nick Robinson. Or making a little tiny rooster. So I don't know whether any of you have any strong feelings about any of these things, but no doubt with time I will continue. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Joe, too. Yes, excellent. And you can watch this video at any point anyway. And I've recorded that as well. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Thanks for being part of the Big Fold. And here every Wednesday at this time, 2 o'clock every Wednesday. And also I will be, adding a film each week. So I hope it's keeping you going in some small sense and something positive, isn't it? So look after yourselves, everybody. Bye, till next week. Thanks for coming, Origami Nick, too. Everybody, bye-bye. Enjoy your frogs. Have some good races. Bye-bye.